Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Dave Mason kicks off his winter tour on Thursday, January 19th in Atlanta, Georgia, and continues south with performances set in Charleston, 6 shows in Florida, including Fort Lauderdale and Orlando, before heading to Nashville, Cincinnati, and Detroit. This new leg will end with multiple performances in Chicago in February 20th and 21st. This perpetual ongoing world tour is a testament to Mason's 6-decade enduring role as a rock icon, as well as the unrelenting support of his music loving fans the world over. A self-described endangered species, Mason enjoyed a successful cross-country run this fall and is thrilled to get back out there on the road to see his friends and fans. Early next year, we'll see the release of his first ever autobiography, Only You Know and I Know, where Dave will share some of the great untold tales in rock and roll. Dave is a unique and rare viewpoint, as he recorded an album with Mama Cass, played rhythm guitar on All Along the Watchtower with Jimi Hendrix, was a founding member of Traffic, recorded with Paul McCartney, George Harrison and the Rolling Stones, was part of Fleetwood Mac for a spell, as well as a guitar designer and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. Yep, that's Dave Mason. Please welcome legendary singer, songwriter, guitarist, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Dave Mason to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Dave.
Ray.
Now, are you on your bus because you're going to start the tour? You're headed towards your first venue, or just out and about?
Right now, we're rehearsing been rehearsing for the last 3 days.
And I'm in Florida, and you got a lot of shows coming up.
We have 3 down there, yes.
Yeah, you've got January 25th in Fort Lauderdale at the Broward Center. You'll be in Vero Beach on the 26th. You've got the Blues Cruise, January 28th. You'll be in Clearwater at the Capitol Theater on February 4th, and I'm about 45 minutes from Clearwater. And I think the last time we talked was at Hippie Fest in Clearwater, and I covered that show. It's a long time ago. But you're very, very popular down in Clearwater. And I'm in the Bradenton, Sarasota area here, so I'm really, really close.
Yeah.
I want to talk first of all about Alone Together Again, your latest release, which I loved. You re-recorded that album, which all the tapes were actually burnt in a 2008 Universal fire, and you recreated the whole album all over again, which was incredible. Can you talk about that experience a little bit?
I just started sort of redoing some of the songs. But I got 10 years ago or more. Just revamping them, i.e., World in Changes, which is completely different from the original.
Right.
And I had some other stuff that was from live recordings. Sad and Deep as You was basically from an XM studio show. And then, with the advent of the fire and stuff, so my wife and just some other people were just, why don't you just redo the whole darn thing? So that's kind of really how it, more or less happened.
Well, it came out great. I gave it 5 stars. I really, really liked it. And of course, it was a little different. Some of the tracks were a little bit different than the original. Yeah. The original had Bonnie Bramlett, Leon Russell, Jim Capaldi, Rita Coolidge, Carl Radle, Jim Gordon on the original. And now, of course, you've got your own band. But I wanted to go over a couple of tracks. Of course, Only You Know and I Know was redone, the new version, which I love. I liked it better than the original.
Pretty much this, it's the same arrangement as the original one. pretty much. But yeah, that came out great. I mean, I like all the stuff on there, the way it came out. So, but yeah,
I think some of my favorites, shouldn't have took more than you gave, was a very cool track. I mean, I love the banjo. Awesome, I guess, wah wah guitar on that.
yes. Well, but again, pretty much the same as the original one. Um, just a little more. Um, some of it just had a little more. Most of it's was cut with my band Road. You know, the band that goes on the road with me. So
Right.
a little bit a little bit more energy in there, I think. You know, and just the song had the addition of John McPhee from the Doobie Brothers on
Yep.
banjo, which gave it a nice little lift. So it's very cool. And then I had a good friend of mine named Jason Roller,
Hmm.
um, incredible guitar player. But the guitar on is playing the guitar on Sad and Deep as You. Actually, I let him. He's the only other person playing lead guitar on the album, but he's so
Hmm.
good. And he had that sort of style down. So it was a question of, yeah, do you play on this? Okay.
Yeah, and of course, John's a great musician. John McVie. I've met John before. He's a really nice guy.
Real cool guy.
Yeah. One track that was different was World in Changes. I mean, you had that reggae
Yeah, that's
beat to it.
different. And then there was some remixes done on it with a couple of reggae bands. I think I forget who. One band was Castaro,
Hmm.
and I forget who the name of the other band was some odd name. I can't remember. Yeah, that's really was one of the first ones that I did because I was just playing around with just redoing some of my songs.
Right.
They're open. They're open to different revision and interpretations. I.e. is test is shown by Feeling All Right, which has been recorded by over 50 major artists. So
Yeah.
all kinds of and none of them are like the original, the way I wrote it. So
Right. Look at you, look at me was a great jam. I loved it.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of solo piano and electric guitar and that. Loved it. Great jam, man.
Tony Patler was the keyboard player who's in the band.
Hmm.
Right now, he sort of left for a while and is back, which is great. Super talented musician.
What happens when the building burns down and takes your recordings? I mean, are you compensated insurance wise or anything like that, or was it a complete loss?
Artists are getting less and less compensated as the years go by.
I know, I know.
Got left is live. Okay, Pandora and Spotify don't pay what they're supposed to.
Yeah,
It's yeah, it's gone the way of the dodo bird.
I know. It's really changed a lot. It really has. I'm an author too, so and a lot of people are stealing my
Well, the
my book.
well, you know, it's destroyed intellectual property,
Yeah,
unfortunately, and
yeah.
nobody seemed to have had an idea how to put a lid on it. So, what do you do?
But so, are you insured at all, or do you get anything out of it when that happens? No, huh?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cared. That,
We're the artists who come in and leave by the back door.
yeah, that sucks. That's a shame. Your memoir. When's the official date that's going to be released?
It's it's slated to come out in May.
This year. This year in May. Okay, good. I'm looking forward to that.
So that I guess like everything that could change, but at the
Yeah.
moment, it's May. But
You got, I guess, Chris Epting. He's the guy that kind of co-piloted the
Chris
book with you.
worked on it for me, especially a lot of the research and he would sort of compile some writing, and then, excuse me,
Hmm.
I would sort of look at everything and then rewrite it all. But he was great for the research, because I don't remember
None of us do.
how many people went that session and who was like, man, I don't remember. It was
Yeah, I heard
so
you in another interview that you don't remember the All Things Must Pass recording.
I kind of bet, I remember being there in the studio, but who was there when I don't remember. It was a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, it was a, very high time in America at that time. I mean, we were all that way. Is there going to be any shocking moments in the book? I mean, are you letting it all hang out, or are you being careful of, what you put out there?
I pretty much, it's just, I mean, obviously the musical moments
Right.
are in there, but mostly it's sort of my journey,
Hmm.
both professionally and personally. So, I write, it's pretty much on me, and other than um like traffic and what really happened with that,
Yep.
I don't really talk about anybody else.
Yeah, it doesn't pay. You
Well,
know.
that's my point. I mean, if I put some of the good and the bad, in there about me, but
Hmm.
again, it's my journey. It's
Sure.
ups and downs of everybody has them in their
Yeah.
life.
Exactly. I think our last interview, you were telling me that one reason you left traffic was you couldn't deal with the fame. I think that was
Well,
one
when
thing, right?
that was first part was yeah, I was just really young. Yeah, and it was one of the reasons. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was too much for me.
and
It
maybe Steve
wasn't really
Steve Winwood.
it was just the
Yeah,
success of it was so quick, and
right. And maybe the Steve Winwood thing. Maybe you got a little jealous, and I think you told me he didn't talk to you for a long time, and you didn't understand why
you don't
he wasn't communicating.
yeah, I mean, I don't have any real communication with him at
Yeah.
all.
What was the last time? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Was that the last time you talked?
No, I didn't even talk to him there.
That
So,
happens. It happens with all the bands nowadays. It's a shame.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was too bad.
I've been trying to get Mark Farner to get back together with Grand Funk. That's not happening. Been trying to get all the guys from Heart together. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's you know, it's a family. It's the way it is. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the book. And I wanted to say thank you, by the way, because our last interview that's my book, and you're in it. Your
Okay.
last interview was in that.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thank you for approving it, because
Problem.
yeah, I really appreciate that. Um, Something that was really cool was Dave Mason and the Quarantines.
Hmm.
That was pretty cool. I like how you put that together. It made everybody feel good during that time.
That was sort of the general idea, basically, and it came. I mean, it came out amazingly well, considering everybody was sort of scattered all over the place and pieced together slow, bit by bit. So yeah.
How difficult was that to coordinate? Because like you said, it came out great.
Well, it really wasn't difficult to coordinate. It was just,
Mhm.
once everybody agreed to sort of go, yeah, sure, man, I mean, it's all shot on, everybody kind of did their bit on, it's all shot basically on iPhone. And
Wow, that's amazing. That really is amazing. A lot of great players on that. All the guys from the Doobies.
all the
Uh,
Doobie Brothers, Michael
yeah.
McDonald, McFleetwood, Sammy
Yep.
A. Yeah.
That was awesome. You guys did a great job. I want to remind everybody, you got some very cool videos on YouTube. I mean, you got videos with Neil Sean, um, and John McPhee, of course, Ross Valerie. I think you do All Along the Watchtower, Santa Barbara, I think. Yeah. It was a great jam.
So. I think so. I have to admit, I don't really go on YouTube, so I don't really know.
You made a comment in one of the interviews saying if it wasn't, I think it was on your Facebook page. You said if it wasn't for Stephen Stills, there would be no Only Know and I Know, because he taught you a number of different tunings for acoustic guitar. Is that true?
Yeah. When I first moved here,
right.
Yes, Stephen showed me a couple different tunings on there. So basically, that's how that came out. That Only You Know and I Know basically came out of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he lived in Tampa for a while. I think he went to high school in Tampa too.
Oh, Stills?
Yeah, Stills, and he spoke perfect Spanish. I'm half Cuban, and he sounds like a Cuban the way he talks, man. And I was good friends with Joe Lala. Did you know Joe?
I know Joe.
Yeah, and Joe and Stephen Stills were very, very close too, and yeah, and Joe lived in Tampa as well. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. I interviewed a lot of people that knew Hendrix, and here's the question I always ask them: is where do you think Hendrix would have been after Band of Gypsies? What direction would have taken? I've got one answer from Brian Chatton. He told me he was going to join Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And then another guy tells me probably Miles Davis. What do you think? Which direction do you think Hendrix would have been heading?
I don't really know. I mean, anyway, the only thing I know is that I heard that he was looking to do something with Miles Davis.
Right.
I can't imagine him in Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
That blew me away too. That's what Brian Chatton told me that.
I don't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, hopefully he wasn't kidding me. Pulling my leg or whatever. You also mentioned you can count on one hand how many times you actually played Dear Mr. Fantasy on stage, even though it was a Traffic tune. I guess you left that one to Stephen Winwood, but you guys do a wonderful version of that song. I'm glad you're starting to play that.
We do. I have my own little version of it, and
exactly.
We do a blues. I have a very cool blues version of "Blow a Spark of High Hill Boys." We do.
I did not know that. It's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. So that, and then my bass player, we do in the show. Let's see, Ray sings 40,000 Headmen.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Rock and Roll Stew. So we have put a little Traffic there in the show.
Where can I find Low Spark? Your version of Low Spark? Is it on YouTube?
I'm getting ready to do finish up the finally sort of blues album.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great!
It's not strictly all blues. I mean, hardcore blues, but it's close. There's a couple of things in there called A Shade of Blues. But I'm getting ready to go in, and there's one song on there with me and Joe Bonamassa, and then I think Joe's going to do Low Spark with me.
Oh my God, that's incredible. So that'll be on the new album.
It'll be on the new release, yes.
Wow, you and Joe Bonamassa, that's going to be incredible. I love him. He's a great guitar player. He really is. But you know what? A lot of people don't give you enough credit because you are an incredible guitar player. When you wail, you really wail.
I fumble around.
You do more than fumble. One song I really love from Traffic that really got the band going also was Hole in My Shoe, which was a very psychedelic tune. That was a great song.
Yeah, nursery rhyme basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it was the first song I ever wrote, and it was their biggest hit. Well, in Europe, it never came. I don't think it ever came out over here, but England, UK, and Europe, it was big hit.
And of course, like the Beatles, a lot of people thought it was induced and all that stuff, but it was really a
Probably
nursery
was.
rhyme. Yeah. You even had a 6-year-old girl on it doing the spoken part on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
part of
pretty
the.
neat. That was an excellent song, man. I wish you stayed with Traffic for a little longer. You know that?
Oh, that would have been nice. Like
Yeah,
but it's all in the book.
I know. Because you had a different take than Winwood. And that combination, I mean, we would have had like two sides of Traffic, which would have been great.
Well, we were pretty, we were very. It was a very musically eclectic.
It was. Yeah.
So yes, it would have been probably a lot more. It would have been more. It would have been interesting. I mean, it was great as it was, but again, say la vie.
You would have brought all the big hits, all the commercial play, I think, to the band.
No, well, up to that point, I had been.
Mm-hmm.
So probably.
When you recorded with Feeling All Right, did Joe Cocker, did he ask you like permission to play that song and record the song, or did he just out of the blue just surprise you, I guess?
I mean, you can cover. Once somebody's done put something out,
Mm-hmm.
released, anybody can cover it.
Really? You don't
Yeah.
really have to call anybody up and say, can I use your
Yeah,
tune?
you get a license for it,
Right.
but restricted in recording it.
Yeah. That feeling, you must have had a great feeling at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when you did that song and you had all these guys on stage with you. I mean, you had Keith Richards, Jackson Brown, Tom Petty, ZZ Top. I mean, that had been a good feeling for you, huh?
It was cool. It was
Yeah.
cool for more than one reason. But again, it's that little saga is all in the book.
I can tell you're not going to talk too much because you want that book to tell it all. I don't blame you. I just want to mention to everybody how many albums you played on. I mean, it's the Beggar's Banquet, All Things Must Pass, of course, Paul McCartney and Wings, Venus and Mars, which was a great album, one of my favorites by him. Electric Ladyland, of course. You're on All Along the Watchtower. Um, I didn't know you played lead guitar on Immigration Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good song. Not played enough. And of
Yes,
course, you did some vocals on Crosstown Traffic as well with Jimmy.
I did. I
Yep.
did some other stuff with him with playing bass and sitar, but I have no idea what happened to that.
Do you still have the sitar that George Harrison gave you? No? What happened to it?
A long time ago.
Yeah. You know how much money that would have been worth today?
Well, I would have, let alone that, just the guitars that I've had over the years.
Right. Did you sell some of your guitars over the years or no?
No, no, they've just either gone missing or
Oh man.
stuff. Yeah.
Old guitars are better than the stock market. That's the best investment you can make today.
Yep.
It really is. Um, this was out of the blue. This was something. You and Michael Jackson together on that song "Save Me."
He was, yeah. He was singing came and sang on Save Me, whilst I was cutting, uh, sorry, Old Crust. It was the last album I did for Columbia, Old Crust on
Hmm.
a New. Um, and we were at the same recording studio. I forget which album he was doing.
Right.
But yeah, he came and sang a little harmony on that song for me.
Very cool. Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. Very different. Um, what about California Jam 2? You got any stories from that? I've talked to a lot of guys from Cal Jam, from the original. I talked to all the guys from ELP and Deep Purple. They all had positive feedback. The only guy that didn't have positive feedback was Frank Marino from Mahogany Rush, he was in Cal Jam too. What do you think about that show?
Well, I mean, they were flying everybody in there. So, I mean, basically, all I just, remember flying. We flew in there. I think I think it was late in the morning when we played. I don't remember exactly which it was.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I mean, whether there's 300 or 300,000 is just it's another show for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess the one thing that happened is I think I got up and we did a little jamming with Carlos, I think, because they were on right after us or something.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there that long.
Right.
Stayed there for a little while and then got out of there.
Hmm. Were you invited to Woodstock, or was that no? Was traffic popular at that time? I mean,
I think traffic was kind of. Excuse me. I mean, when I first moved over here in '69, I think people were just getting aware of the band.
right. And then, of course, he was Winwood was big with the
Spencer Davis.
the Spencer Davis band. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he already had the fame from that band, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I got your final two questions here.
Yes.
What was your first concert that you ever went to?
Probably the Shadows.
Really? They were a good band. Really good band. What year was that? Do you remember? Early 60s, I guess. I hate to ask you these complicated questions. I know when you have to go back 50 years,
Far back. But yes, it would have been early 60s.
Yeah, yeah. All right, here's a question I asked you before, okay? But I get some really interesting answers. If you had a Field Dreams wish, like the movie, to perform or collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Geez. Trying to think who would, I mean, there's probably 2 or 3 or 4. I mean, I'd certainly like to, done some more stuff with Hendrix for sure.
Right.
McCartney. Somebody who's still with us, probably Bonnie Raitt.
Yep. Great slide blues guitar player. Probably one of the best woman guitar players, I think.
Yeah, Bonnie's great.
Yeah, she's awesome. I grew up in DC, and Bonnie was really. I remember her before she got big. Her and Emmylou Harris, they were really big in the Cellar Door in DC. Remember that?
Sure. I remember.
Yeah. All right, Dave. I want to say special thanks to Michelle from Mad Ink PR for arranging this interview with Dave Mason. Dave, you got a bunch of dates coming up in Florida.
Yep.
Your old stomping ground, my stomping ground at Ruth Eckerd Hall, Clearwater. I've seen you there many times. You put on a fantastic show, by the way.
Dom Cesar.
And by the way, you look great. You look great. I mean, what are you, 40, 41?
Yeah.
You look awesome. You really do, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. Whatever it is. Dave, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Good luck on the tour and also on your memoir. I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, man. Bye-bye.